This August the 21st picks edition of the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by our Patreon. Score exclusive perks, content and contests, including our NFL Win Totals contest with a $1,000 prize. Join today at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. We're also brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app to get last-minute tickets at the lowest price guaranteed. Use the promo code SGPN for $20 off. And we're brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now. Use the code DGEN. New customers can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet just $5 on any college football bet, only on DraftKings Sportsbook with the code DGEN. Welcome, everybody, to the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford. I'm in Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Sunday, August the 20th. We have a 10-game card, all priced up remarkably, for Monday the 21st. And for the third time tonight, we will try and talk to Mr. Scott Reichel. Hey, Scott, how are you?
Good. I switched headphones. I apparently made it back from Wisconsin alive, but my headphones did not. So, yeah, here we are. I got these working for me. Hopefully we can survive. But apparently the alien noises are gone, so we're back to normal for now. So we'll see what happens.
You were either an alien or in Daft Punk, or you sounded like Cher in, I can't remember, was it Believe, maybe, that song?
Do you believe in life?
Yeah,
that's Believe.
You should have sang that before we left the last stream, actually, because that would have been box office, Scott. You've been on the Razzle again this weekend, haven't you? That's about 3 weekends running.
Yeah, my headphones didn't make it. But yeah, I was busy at a wedding, which was nice. So prepared a toast, did that, traveled all day. So yeah, I've been keeping busy. How have you been?
You must be at that age where all your friends are getting married. You say, I'm about 10 years beyond that now. All my friends, we're starting to get to our second marriages. Okay. But you must be at that age where you're on your first marriage. So that's nice, until everyone realizes they all made a terrible error. Yeah, I haven't done much. I watched football yesterday, the Premier League, not as spectacular as last week. I think I'm 4-4 with a few 2+ price. So I'm still a little bit ahead, but just after we had such a good week last week, you feel the pressure. Again, my DM started lighting up around about Thursday night with people wanting tips. But yeah, we did okay today. Newcastle were a bit disappointing. Went to the pub to watch Newcastle and they weren't great. But Man United getting beat's always funny. Chelsea lost again today, and Arsenal play tomorrow. So yeah,
West Ham buried Chelsea today. What was it, 3-1?
Yeah, 3-1. Yeah, Chelsea missed a penalty. Their new £115 million signing had a nightmare. I think there's better days ahead for Chelsea, but Manchester, I don't see where any improvement's going to come from for Manchester United. MLB-wise, it's been a bit of an odd weekend because of all the West Coast games being moved from today. All the Sunday games, well, not all. Was there 3, I think, maybe? 3 Sunday games got moved because of the impending hurricane in California. So there was lots of double headers yesterday, which meant the pitching matchups were all messed up. Munaf was trying to wriggle out of his picks from the Friday night show because of all the pitching matchups. Got changed over because of double headers, and obviously there's just been a knock-on result. So there's loads of officially TBD pitches. Although I've got names for everybody, I think. Bar the Giants, who obviously have Cobb, then a 3-day gap, and then Webb, and then a 3-day gap, and that's all they ever put. So the Giants are still TBD, but I've got names for everybody. So yeah, there's the Marlins and all the games are on the board as well, which I don't think is ever happened before. The Sunday games, you said you got to sweat the Yankees Red Sox game 3 times earlier, Scott.
I did. I had the Red Sox money line. For some reason, it was plus 102. The Yankees lost 7 straight games, and they were favored. Why? I have no idea, but I'll take it. They got it done in the end, so it wasn't easy, but the Red Sox gave me some money.
I didn't have a bet today. I've done one of my least favourite things today, which is Bob had a football tournament. So normally, if they just have a match, it's not so bad because there's only sort of 20-odd sets of parents and kids there who get on my nerves. But at a tournament today, there's like 30 teams. So there's 600 sets of parents and kids all getting agitated and shouting at 11-year-old children. And
are you the kind of person that screams at the referees while you're attending kids soccer matches?
No, that was part of the point. Like, the sort of red-faced men shouting at 14-year-old referees today. There was an awful example, mate. Honestly, it was an under-sevens game today, and there was a big bloke shouting at the referee that it was an inside job that he'd cheated one team in the under-sevens for this referee himself's like 13 years old. So I hate these tournaments because it's just about 80% of the people there are wankers. So I didn't have much. My point was I didn't have time to have much of a bet. So just before we came on, I backed the Athletics, and then I saw the lineup, and we're going to get to them in a little while. So I've factored in my handicap on Oakland tonight on the lineup because that lineup it's not even a AAA lineup tonight they're rolling out. As it happens, JPC threw a load of muck, so it didn't really matter. I only had a pizza bet on it. I had like $15 on, so it hasn't cost me, but I was just never in the game. It was a bet I made without really looking, and then I looked at that Oakland lineup, and holy shit. But the Braves dropped one tonight. The Blue Jays scored a load of runs. The Twins had a perfect game going into the 6th, maybe the 7th. Dallas Keuchel going for them. What else is that? The Mariners Astros.
I'm assuming we're in agreement that division's completely over. Like Minnesota's going to have a massive collapse to lose the AL Central at this point, right?
Well, because Cleveland gave up.
Yeah, the Cleveland completely gave up. I'm just saying, that division's over.
Like they were level. They were like neck and neck.
Yeah,
and Cleveland just thought, last year Cleveland weren't meant to do anything at all. Actually played quite well. And turned it this time when they were there. They've decided they didn't want to be there. It's a really weird setup. Like. Say Red Sox won by 1, and the Mariners were the other team I wanted to touch on. They were hot. They were hot coming in. They got out to a 6-0 lead, and then gave it all back and managed to win 7-6. Matt Brash, we talked about, myself and Munaf on Friday. We talked about the Mariners making the playoffs at plus 130. Was a really good bet at the weekend, and then they actually moved themselves into the wild card positions over the weekend. But we said Matt Brash had kind of fallen into the closer's role in Seattle. And then tonight, when they were in trouble, he came in the 4th inning. They're just using him as an absolute fireman, like wherever you need him. Matt Brash was there. So he got the win tonight, having pitched in the 4th, I think. And they ended up winning that 7-6. So, yeah, quite a lot of fun games tonight. But, yeah, MLB does seem to be a little bit all over the place. But, yeah, we've got some winners for tomorrow. Dylan is in the chat. Captain saying OCF for the 3rd time. Josh saying hello. Randy. We apologise for the instances of alien invasion, but we're back and we will start tomorrow with. Let me get the right page up. No baseball, so it's a 6:40 Eastern first pitch. It is the Chicago Cubs at the Detroit Tigers. Javier Assad for the Cubs and Alex Faedo for the Tigers. Minus 142 the Cubbies, plus 110, plus 120 Detroit. Total is 9.5. Scott, you can lead us off.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Cubs. They're playing good baseball. Detroit's not. I'm not a Faedo guy. Assad doesn't go much length, but he's been fine for the most part. A serviceable, number 5 starter in a rotation. But I see 135 on DraftKings. I'll take that. I think that's a pretty good price. Cubs are still fighting for that wild card spot. We just mentioned how the Twins kind of ran away with that division by forfeit, but Detroit gave up basically a while ago. So based on current form and based on just the overall talent differential, I'll take Chicago. I think Chicago's going to win the game.
I just picked in our D-Gens Fantasy League, I picked Javier Assad up this week because he's got it's a 2-starter because he pitches on Monday, which means he'll go on Friday and Saturday, and he's got this one in Detroit, which doesn't fear, and can't remember where they are the back end, or Pittsburgh, I think it is, at the back end of the week. So yeah, I've picked him up just to try and steal maybe a couple of wins and a strikeout or two. But I talked him up last week and he did well. You're right about the length, but I think he's gone 6 or 7 maybe in his last 2. Surprised me actually. So yeah, quite high on Assad at the moment. Faedo, agree with you, but his last 3 starts have been okay. I had this down as a bit of a slow burner. The 9.5 looked too high. We've just looked at Detroit winning 4-1 again tonight. And that looks like kind of a comp game, really. There's going to be 5 or 6 runs, and the Cubs will probably score most of them. So under 9.5 would be my pick in that one. I'm going to get onto these ads before we fill in the rest of the card. DraftKings, you just mentioned there, Scott, using DraftKings for your Cubs pick. The time has finally arrived. College football is back. Traditions, tailgate, and all the great offers from DraftKings Sportsbook. New customers can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 on college football. Scott, who's the big college football pick next week? Where's the smart money?
I haven't looked yet. I think Notre Dame's going to kill Navy, but I got to see what the line is on that one.
Okay, I like that. So yeah, get the season kicked off on DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app and use the code DEGEN, DEGEN. New customers score $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet $5 on any college football bet, only on DraftKings Sportsbook with the code DEGEN. Got a gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. In partnership with Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races, all games regulated by the West Virginia Lottery. Please play responsibly. Connecticut help is available. Problem gambler, call 888-789-7777. On behalf of Bootheel Casino and Resort, 21 plus in most eligible states. Age varies by jurisdiction. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resource. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football teams. Whoa. I'm going to tell you about this game time ticket thing too, if you might want to mow the lawn or pick someone up from the airport.
Do you want me to time
tickets, stressful thing. But it shouldn't be. Game time will sort you out with that. It's a fast and easy way to get tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theatre near you. There's loads of killer deals on the last-minute tickets, and the best price is guaranteed. Everyone at the network have been raving about game time, the flash deals, last-minute tickets, and the low price guarantee. So you can forget planning months in advance. They've got football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theatre. And if you find tickets in the same section, the same row, the game time guarantee will credit you 110% of the difference. Snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code SGPN for $20 off your first purchase. Create an account, redeem the code SGPN for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Whoa. 6:40 Eastern first pitch. The San Francisco Giants at the Philadelphia Phillies. We have Aaron Nola for the Phillies. San Francisco are TBD because it's not Corbo Webb in the 3-day split. I've got lines though. It's been priced up by DraftKings. Plus 114 the Giants, minus 135 the Phillies. Total set at 8.5. I mean, we have this conversation every time with the Giants, Scott, and they're at it again.
Yeah, pretty much. I am going to lean to the over in this game. Nola's been allowing a lot of home runs this year, and the Giants might strike out a lot, but they tend to rely on home runs. We know Philly's offense has been solid for the last couple of weeks or months at this point. I see runs in this matchup. Simply put, I'll be on the over.
Mate, that's exactly my handicap. That's what I've got written down. Nola still struggling. Loads of runs and Nola starts. Over. It was dead simple. I obviously didn't have a Giants pitcher to handicap. The Giants are going along okay, they're quite funky. So yeah, pretty short and sweet, but absolutely agree with you, Scott. I'll take the over. 7:20 Eastern first pitch is the 7:05 actually. We'll go to that one. The St. Louis Cardinals at the Pittsburgh Pirates. I've got a new name here, Drew Rom.
That sounds fake, but it's a real name.
It does sound fair, yeah. Someone who's got more letters in the first name than the last name. It's a bit suspicious to me.
Yeah.
Drew Rom, left-handed pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals. Bailey Falter for Pittsburgh. Minus 118 on the Cards, minus 102 on the Pirates, and a total of 10.5. So, yeah, lefty Drew Rom joined St. Louis in the Jack Flaherty trade. So he's only been with the organization 2 weeks, kind of thing. He was pitching in AAA in Memphis. His last start was actually against the team he just moved across from. It was from the Baltimore minor league affiliate. He pitched against them for for Memphis, pitched 6 innings, struck out 8, only allowed 1 hit. And he's got along like that all year, really. He's got 118 strikeouts in 97 innings of minor league ball this year. So I do like a strikeout prop. Books can often go to sleep on rookie pitchers. Myself and Munaf, in the glory days of the twice a week MLB gambling podcast from a few years ago, would rake money in on these rookie pitchers just because the books kind of lazily just underprice them, I think. So if you look at a K prop for Rom tomorrow, because really Pittsburgh just aren't very good. I mean, Bailey Falter, he's 0-7 on the year, 4.86 ERA. And he's inconsistent. He's got 3 good and 2 bad in his last 5. I just think you've got 2 really bad teams, but you've got 1 pitcher with potential upside. You know what Falter's going to give you. But Drew Rom might just give us something different. So the K prop for Rom, but also St. Louis at -118, I think more than live, Scott.
Yeah, I was initially considering Cardinals team total over, just because once again I don't think Falter's any good, but Rom, maybe he can be decent. So far in the minors this year he was okay, I guess. I mean, he had a 4.82 ERA, but he had a 9-6 record. You mentioned the strikeouts. I do agree with that. He had 118 strikeouts in 97 innings, so he can be a little bit underpriced for strikeouts in this outing. But I really don't know what to expect, because sometimes you have an unknown commodity who shows up who's really good in his first outing, and other times they're not ready and they get buried. So it's kind of one of those spots where I'm going to assume that he'll be okay because Pittsburgh's not very good. The strikeout prop you mentioned I like, but I think I am going to look at Cardinals team total over. I'll fade Falter because I know exactly what he is. I feel like that's the better way to put it. I'm not laying 160 with a guy that's never pitched in the majors before. Give me the Cardinals team total over instead.
Yeah, that's a good point. There's a couple of games on the card, Scott, that I felt the same, where it was easier just to take one team's team total. The game we're coming on to now, actually, Atlanta, because you've got a new name in there, and all will become clear when I tell you about the 7:20 Eastern first pitch between the New York Mets and the Atlanta Braves. Left-handed pitcher David Peterson for the Mets, and it's Alan Winans, Winans, Winans maybe, for Atlanta. Plus 164 on the Mets, minus 198 on the Braves, a total of 10. 2 teams were in good form before tonight. The Mets had won 4 and the Braves had won 5. I was my little pitch for the Mets to make the playoffs from Friday night that got laughed out of here.
Wait, from this Friday night or 3 months ago Friday night?
From Friday night. I did.
From Friday night, you made a pitch when they're 9 under?
Yeah,
it was you too. Okay.
Oh, well, we did, and I laughed at my own face. I scribbled it out and had to go and walk around the garden a couple of times to clear my head because we were doing a Lockdog Total show with Moonaf. Yeah, I don't know what got into me. And then they kept winning.
Yeah, I was going to say you saw a lot of plus money, and you were hoping you could find they're not making the playoffs. Sorry to tell you.
No, you're right. I did explain how I'd got into it, and then I also explained how I got myself back out of it. Peterson. But they both lost tonight anyway. So the winning streaks are gone. 3-7 on the year, 5.45 ERA. Peterson has either started, I think he started the last 2. Before that, he was long relief. So you get 2 or 3 innings out of him. A couple of times he's all right. He walked 6 batters last time and somehow only gave up 1 earned run against Pittsburgh. That probably explains it. It was against Pittsburgh. Now, Alan Winans is another name that we don't really know. He started that mad 21-3 win that the Braves had over the Mets. I'm in that doubleheader last time out. So he's going to stick around for another turn through the rotation. He went 7 innings in that game, 4 hits and 0 earned runs. He struck out 9 batters. And he started one of the game before that, which was the 22nd of July against the Brewers. This sounds a bit more like it. 4 1/3, 5 hits, 2 earned runs. So, as you just said, you would rather take the team total for St. Louis against Falter. I think I would rather take the Atlanta team total here against Peterson, not knowing what to expect. Off Winans, he could come out and he's got them 2 lines, and they're 2 very, very different lines. And at this point, I don't know enough about him to trust. I do know enough about Peterson, and I know enough about the Braves. They're hitting 292 against left-handed pitching, and Atlanta team total looks the safest play, Scott.
Yeah, you said you see pitcher Winings pitching. I see Elder according to ESPN, so maybe it's one or the other.
No,
I'm not
okay.
sure. Maybe you'll feel better about Elder because he was actually pretty good last time out. But yeah, I think the Braves are going to probably bury the Mets. The Mets had a decent series over the weekend against the Cardinals, but they faced off against Wainwright, so that doesn't really count. But looking at the actual head-to-head here, the Braves are up 8-2 in the head-to-head. They've won all. They've won seven of their 8 wins have been by multiple runs. So when they beat the Mets, they bury the Mets, and I do think that's going to result in probably a Braves run-one play for me. It might get rained out. There's supposed to be some lightning in the forecast, some rain, so keep an eye on that. But either Elder or Winings, I've got to go with Atlanta at home. They're 42-21 at home. The Mets are 27-39 on the road. But it's mostly just based on the fact that once again the Mets have gotten destroyed on a regular basis by this team. I got the Braves over the weekend, -1.5 against the Giants with Strider at like -102.
No,
These are the
nice.
home team, and they're going to keep burying teams at home. So I'll take the Braves run line in the spot.
8:10 Eastern first pitch. The Boston Red Sox at the Houston Astros. We have left-handed pitcher James Paxton for Boston and Christian Javier for Houston. Even money, +100, the Red Sox, -102 for Houston. So it's a match on the books. Total is set at 9. Paxton, 7-3, 3.34 ERA. He's been nice recently. His recent form's good. 2.96 in his last 5. He's 4-2 on the road. His road form's been all right. In his career at Houston, 8 games started since 2015. So we've got a decent sample size. And that's a 3.92 ERA. So it's not terrible. I mean, sub 4, we'll take it. And Christian Javier has just been bang average lately. He's 8-2 on the year, 4.49 ERA, but 4.85 his last 5, 4.2, 3.32. He's got a 23-15 strikeout to walk rate, which is nowhere near good enough. And he's given up at least 1 homer in each of his last 4 as well. I mean, Rafael Devers clubbed one early doors against the Yankees tonight. He might be an option here. Houston do hit lefties okay. Again, I've handicapped this before I saw the prices. My note here says, if Houston are dogs, if Boston are the dog, then I will take Boston. And they've come in as an underdog by 2 points, +100 over -102. I would rather they were a little bit bigger. I would take Boston to win. I'd have a shot around. I'd rather try and find a +110 or a +115. But yeah, I'm going to take Boston in a very, very tight one. Just a little fade of Javier, really, Scott.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I'll lean to the over, maybe the first 5 over, but I actually had Javier as my lock in the last game that he pitched in because they were against Miami, and he was terrible. But I got lucky because the Astros went nuts offensively anyway as they won the game. But I'm not a Javier guy. I think that he should definitely not be in the playoff rotation, and I'm not going to say they should leave him off the roster, but they need to have a discussion because he's not very good. Paxton's been fine for the most part. I do once again acknowledge that it's a pretty even battle, which is why it is around even money for both sides, but I am just going to go with the Red Sox and hope for the best because I think getting plus money in what it looks like a coin flip game, Boston swept over the weekend against the Yankees. The Astros actually lost their last 3 games as they ended up getting kind of killed by Seattle over the weekend at home. Based on the team with being in better form, getting plus money only in Boston.
Okay, double bubble for Boston. 5 games in the book, 5 to go. I'll tell you first. We've got another new sponsor. It's all going on. Factor. Factor are going to help you out with your busy fall. I'm going to say autumn season just around the corner. So if you're looking for wholesome, convenient meals for those busy days, Factor are America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit. Can help you fuel up fast with chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door so you'll save time, eat well, stay on track with your healthy lifestyle. So if you're struggling a bit with enough time to cook or shop, things like that, Factor's fresh, never frozen meals will be ready in just 2 minutes. So heat and enjoy. Get back to crushing your goals. You can carry on with your healthy habits. You can level up. You've got gourmet plus options. If you upscale bits and bobs in there as well, broccolini, leeks, truffle butter, asparagus. It's all quite fancy. So if you're looking for calorie conscious options or an extra boost, you've got protein plus meals, all sorts of things as well. Rest assured, you're making a sustainable choice too. Factor offset 100% of their delivery emissions, source 100% of renewable electricity for the production, and feature sustainably sourced seafood in their meals. Head to factormeals.com/SGPN50. Use the code SGPN50 to get 50% off. That's code SGPN50 at factormeals.com/SGPN50 to get 50% off. And old favourite, Underdog Fantasy too. The NFL season right around the corner. Underdog NFL Pick'em is a great way to get down on your favourite over or under picks. College football and NFL pre-season is all live. Best Ball Mania 4 could win you $3 million. Head to underdogfantasy.com. Use the promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That's underdogfantasy.com, promo code SGPN. Next up is a 8:10 Eastern first pitch. The Seattle Mariners at the Chicago White Sox. Luis Castillo for the Mariners and Duki Toussaint for the White Sox. Minus 180 Seattle, plus 150 on the White Sox. Total is 8.5, Scott.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to go with Seattle run line here. I'm not going to try to get creative. I just think Seattle's in better form. I said weeks ago on this show, I thought they were going to make the playoffs. Or I said they'd be in the thick of the wild card race. And they are, because they've been really good for the last month. And they've won 6 straight. They swept Houston over the weekend on the road, which is a very nice sweep there. White Sox are about to win, but they're against Colorado. They already lost a series at Colorado, which is embarrassing in its own right. But I'll be on Seattle run line here. Simply put, I think Castillo's a very solid pitcher. Toussaint is a pitcher that's fun, but I'm not exactly sure how good he is. But I think that Seattle winning 6 straight, that's good enough for me. Like, this team's playing baseball at the right time. They had expectations to make the playoffs. They were underachieving for most of the year. They're finally starting to gel, and the White Sox have been playing for no purpose for the last couple months, pretty much since April, to be honest. So I'll go with the Mariners run line here to get it done.
Yeah, you can't argue with that. Castillo's kind of gone good, bad, good. He's in one of those runs of form. And Toussaint, I like him. He's still flashing occasionally.
He's fun.
Maybe not enough.
He walks a ton of guys. Like, he just can't find the strike zone enough.
It's not fun enough to make you want to bet him, basically. I think you see a good comp. Seattle tonight just got off to an absolute flyer. 2 runs in the first, second, and third. So it's a Seattle team total for me. But again, it's the same.
Toussaint reminds me of like a very bad version of like Johnny Cueto. Like that's the
Johnny
comp I get.
Johnny Cueto's had enough stick in the last couple of weeks on this show as well. So yeah, I do think like with a full off season behind him, if he can ever come out to spring firing, I can see Toussaint going well. Or if he gets to a new club maybe and something changes.
I see some Johnny Cueto in his game. I don't even mean like Miami Cueto, who's not very good. I mean, even if you want to say prime Cueto, there's some similarities with the off-speed pitches, the weird deliveries at times. Like I can see some similarities between them.
Yeah, fair enough. 9:38 Eastern. The Cincinnati Reds at the LA Angels. Graham Ashcraft for Cincinnati and Lucas Giolito for the Angels. Plus 110 on the Reds, minus 126 the Angels. Total is 9. My guy, Ashcraft, 6-8, 4.89 ERA. But really, it's a tale of 2 halves, Ashcraft. He started, 3/3, let's say, started on fire, then absolutely fell apart, went away for a little bit, came back, and he's back on fire again. His recent form has been outstanding. He's, 1-1 with a 2.32 ERA in his last 3 starts. He hasn't been on the road much lately. He's had 3 straight home starts. He's back on the road here. But before that, his last 2 road starts, he went 6 scoreless at the Dodgers, which is no mean achievement. And then he pitched at the Brewers and was fine there. Lucas Giolito is 6-9 on the year, 4.44 ERA. He's had 4 starts now for the Angels, and they've just been horrible, really. 3 earned runs, 9 earned runs, 3 earned runs, 4 earned runs, 6 homers in those 4 starts, 9 walks in those 4 starts. Like, choose your stat. They're just all terrible. I didn't need to look far. Obviously, I wanted to back Ashcraft. That was my instinct when I saw the game. I didn't need to look too far for many reasons to take him. And I couldn't find any. Obviously, the Reds' form isn't great at all. But then,
Neither's the Angels.
Yeah, it's the Angels. So that really kind of goes out the window. Yeah, I've got to take Ashcraft and the Reds here at plus 110, Scott.
Yeah, I'm taking the Reds. I think that the wrong team's favored here. Getting plus money here, I think, is hilarious based on how bad the Angels have been for the last couple of weeks. And they went all in and it fell apart. And they're probably going to lose Ohtani for nothing during the offseason. So there you go. But still, I like Ashcraft more than Giolito based on recent form. The Reds have not been good recently, but they've been better as it has gone along. So maybe, I don't want to say they found something, but I think they're in better form than the Angels are right now. But if you want to give me the better team based on record and the better starting pitcher, I'll take the Reds. Both bullpens are not any good, so I feel like that balances out. So maybe you can look for some overs if you want to make a case for a late game potential bullpen implosion by either side. But I don't mind the over maybe at 9, maybe the Reds team total over, but the Reds at plus money here, I'll fade Giolito at plus money, sure.
Yeah, that's it. Dead straightforward. 9:40 Eastern first pitch. The Kansas City Royals and the Oakland Athletics. Little audible calls here. I'd handicapped Alec Marsh for Kansas City. Now seeing lefty Tucker Davidson go for Kansas, and that Kansas City. Sorry, internet man. And that is confirmed.
He was still in the league, Davidson. He's still in the league. All right, I didn't realize.
Oh, he's back tomorrow.
I was saying he used to be on the Braves like way back in the day. I didn't realize he was even in Kansas City at the moment. Okay, cool.
He was a name though. He was like he was a bit of a
fantasy
darling.
The Braves, he was like a young. He was the guy that was kind of like second fiddle. I don't want to say to Soroka, but he was like a young pitcher with some promise, and he just never panned out in Atlanta, from what I remember. But
I'm just trying to think. He's pitched. He's been at the Royals a little while now. He's got 5 consecutive starts under his belt at least. And Paul Blackburn is going for Oakland. The prices are minus 115 on Kansas City, minus 105 on Oakland with a total of 8. So tricky one this, Scott. It's a bum fight. What do you think?
It's not tricky. You know where we're going. We're taking the A's first 5. You don't have to bluff it. Like, come on, we're taking the A's first 5.
The only issue with that is I've just told you I backed the A's tonight on the first 5.
Yeah, you backed the wrong.
And then just before the man put, and here's the A's lineup, and I thought, what are they? Who are these people? Like, I recognize Tony Kemp.
Okay, but to balance it out, though, Bradish is actually a pretty good pitcher, and Sears is not very good. You're getting Blackburn now against Kansas City. Like, there were some variables involved.
Let me take you through some of this Oakland batting tonight.
I know
if I had another 5 minutes to prepare this, I could have.
Okay.
I could have thrown out some. We could have had a game of all these batters for Oakland tonight. All right, so lead it off. Okay. Have you seen any of this?
I have not.
Right, okay. So lead it off is L. Butler. Lawrence Butler. Yes, no?
Oh, never heard of him. Cool. All right.
Okay. Batting second is Geloff.
Okay, he's actually not bad. Geloff's actually not that bad.
Okay. We then have Seth Brown.
Okay.
Brent Rooker.
He's really bad. He's been around. Rooker was good for about a month and a half, and then
he was.
I don't think he's done anything. Okay, cool.
Tony Kemp. Perez, the catcher.
Okay.
J. Diaz.
Okay.
Soderstrom.
Wait,
J. Diaz Soda Stream, doesn't it?
J. Diaz or A. Diaz?
J. Diaz.
I'm not even sure if I know who that is because A. Diaz was the Houston guy that went to to Oakland. Okay. I'm not even sure if I know who that is. Okay.
And then batting ninth is Nick Allen. I'm pretty sure, isn't he just a pinch runner? Isn't that his job?
He's a white shortstop. That's like really, really small.
Yeah, he's tiny. I'm sure he's just a pinch runner. They put him in the ninth to try and steal a bag or whatever. So there's your Oakland lineup, which is why I would struggle tomorrow. And I was really happy with Alec Marsh because I think he gets a bit of a bad stick. And I don't mind him. However, Tucker Davidson is now causing me a problem here. He's been pitching out the pen, so it might be a bullpen day. He's gone 1 1/3.
That's his longest day for Kansas City. Well, it might be emerging. They might be using Davidson and Marsh maybe combined.
Do you know what? That's probably what they're going to do, actually. In which case, fuck it. Kansas City, please. This really is just Kansas City have been all right. They've been considerably better than Oakland, in fact. Yeah, Paul Blackburn. I like Paul Blackburn a lot. This was TBD when I picked it up, but it's Kansas City v Oakland, and you getting a similar price on both. In more days than not, Kansas City will beat them. Even if Blackburn subs a gem and it's 1-0 to Oakland after 5, they're still going to get beat. And I don't mind Alec Marsh at all. So yeah, we'll see if he can follow Tucker Davidson if they're not too far behind, which they won't be, and get us the win there. Okay, next is a 9:40 Eastern first pitch. Texas Rangers at the Arizona Diamondbacks. Jordan Montgomery for Texas, left-handed pitcher, and Slade Cecconi. I never know which is the soft C and which is the hard C. Slade Cecconi, I'll go with, for Arizona. -125 on Texas, +105 on the Diamondbacks. Totally set at 9, Scott.
Is that the best first name in the league, by the way?
Slade. Oh, I love it. I'd love to be called Slade.
That's pretty good, yeah. But
if I was called Slade, I would command a lot more respect around here than I do right now, being called Malcolm.
That is fair. But I do think for this one, I mean, Arizona's been actually pretty good lately. They're kind of getting themselves back into that wild card race. I'm not sure if they're going to get there or not, but they might. I don't really know enough about Slade because he made, I think it was like 1 or 2 starts, but it was in Coors Field, so I can't really judge anything from that outing. But I think I'm going to take Arizona. Like, I just like their current form. I think you're going to be getting a decent price here. They're around +105. Montgomery, we know, can be a bit hit or miss at times. He's a standard, generic mid-rotation pitcher. Texas, though, was not very good over the weekend against Milwaukee. And Arizona, once again, was pretty good. So I think I'll lean to the Diamondbacks, but I'm kind of on the fence. I see it being a bit of a coin flip game.
Yeah, Scott, we're pretty locked up on this. I'm taking Arizona as well. Montgomery, 6 innings, 3 earned runs. That's his line. And now that remains to be seen whether that's good enough here. But Cecconi's 2 starts, he's been okay. 4 innings, no more than that, really. But it was kind of a handicap of Texas being in a bit of a funk. And Arizona looking a lot better, 7-3 in their last 10. And again, before I saw the lines, I thought if Arizona are a dog, which I was almost certain they would be, then I'd be happy to take them. +105 is reasonable. So I'll take the Diamondbacks in that spot. Matthew Hennings in the chat saying Gelof's been okay. Apologies, Mr. Geloff. I wasn't disrespecting you. I was just trying to explain the Oakland lineup. But Matthew's saying Gelof's been good. Apparently, Gunnar Henderson's hitting for the cycle tonight, according to the real Dylan O'Donnell. Yeah, I watched the first couple of innings. Gunnar Henderson just looks in complete control at the plate. He was always going to put the ball in play and reach base safely from the bits I watched. The final game on the card is a 9:40 Eastern first pitch. Now, both officially TBD here, but I've seen Johnny Cueto and Blake Snell all day, and we've got lines, so I think we're happy to roll with it. The lines look about right as well, if it was those two. Cueto and the Marlins, +150. Snell and the Padres, -180, with a total of 8.5. Johnny Cueto, 0-3, 557. Just consistently mediocre. His last 4 starts, 4 earned, 3 earned, 4 earned, 4 earned, multi-home runs in 3 of his last 4. And Blake Snell, it's just been great. Absolutely outstanding. 10-8 on the year, 265 ERA. But 257 in his last 5, 282 at home. The Padres have won each of those last 5 starts. They've covered the run line in each of those last 5 starts. It was just a really easy pick. You didn't have to get too much into it. The Padres on the run line, we've just seen they've covered them 5 in a row for Blake Snell, and they covered them 6. Miami did all right for a little while against the Dodgers. They picked up a cheeky win. I think they lost both legs of the doubleheader yesterday. But Padres on the run line is +114, Scott. I think that's good enough for me.
Yeah, it's good value. I like the first 5 run one. I like -0.5 because Snell still doesn't go much length. But I mentioned how I'm not a fan of Javier, but I won my last bet involving him. It was because Cueto was pitching on the other side, and he wasn't any good either. So that's why I saw Cueto pitch against Houston. He kind of got buried. I'm with you. I'm on San Diego. I'm not really going to overthink this. I don't like their team, but I like Snell, and I would personally vote for him to win Cy Young. He would get my vote, so I'll go with Snell on this one.
Yeah, baseball's still one of those weird things. Like culturally, for me, you just never see players win those kind of awards on bad teams.
Well, we used to never see that. Then Trout came along. The Angels always stunk. Ohtani's won it. The Angels have still stunk. The first I remember was like Felix Hernandez because he was incredible and Seattle was terrible. And he was like 12-12 and he got the Cy Young anyway. So you see it a lot more now than you used to. Winning used to actually matter for the awards, but not anymore.
Yeah. It's just something that would be totally alien to us. Is it? If you're not playing for the champions, or you're not winning anything like.
I still remember though with Felix winning because Felix beat out a Yankee. He actually beat out Ching-Ming Wang back in the day because Wang had like 19 wins and his ERA was like 4. And I was rooting for him and they gave it to Felix. So that was the first time I actually remember a player on a really bad team winning the Cy Young Award.
Most of the chatter co-signing the Padres pick. Matthew's gone for
insane. Like I don't know who else you're going to vote for. There's like 4 candidates. I think Snell, based on the last 2-3 months, should be the Cy Young. I know Strider had a 1-hitter last time out, but I can't vote for him because he's had too many hit or miss starts. Snell for about 2.5 months has been like a top 3 pitcher in the league just based on consistency. I think he's going to win the award. I know it doesn't go any length, but he's already won a Cy Young going no length, so I think that he's going to win it again.
This is a funny exchange because Scott, in real time, is responding to all of Captain Sano's critiques of Blake Snell.
Because I already know like the criticisms that I'm going to deal with. I'm just saying. I'm just acknowledging it.
Did you want to answer that one about Zach Gallen, Scott?
Insano, can you pick Gallen? His road numbers are terrible. I mean, his home road splits are atrocious. Can you give questions, Captain? To a guy that's that bad on the road? I mean, Snell. I think that Steele is definitely worthy. For me, I think Snell and that's a tongue twister. Snell and Steele are the 2 main people to pick between. I would probably lean to Snell. Go through the numbers for the last 2-3 months. That's like an all-time run for 2-3 months. I think Snell's going to win it, in my opinion.
Captain Insano, offer Scott a price. Scott sounds like he wants to take $50 of your money on that one. We do like Snell tomorrow, and Matthew wanted
Steele is Fernando in the conversation, though. I'd have Steele second. I would actually have Steele second in the conversation. I would just pick Snell, personally.
Steele's been on our radar all year because Sean took him. Sean Green took him in our pre-season show and again in our mid-season show. I think it was just one of the pitchers Sean knew, so he picked him. And he may have listened to the show a couple of times. So, a friend of the show, Justin Steele, is in there. Oh, man, that made me giggle. Okay, Scott, lock and dog, who have we got?
All right, so for the lock, I got to remember which plays I like the most because I feel like I was pretty consistent here.
Yeah.
I think for this one, I'm going to go back to the last game we talked about, actually. I'll put my money where my mouth is. Give me the Padres' first 5-run line. I'll take a -0.5. Probably like 130, if I had to guess. They're like 170, 180 favorites, so you're probably looking at first 5 of like 130, give or take. I'll take it. You mentioned how good the Padres are when Snell's on the mound. I'm anti-Cueto, both the younger version of Tiki and the older version with Johnny. I'll go with fading Johnny Cueto here, and I'll go with the Padres' first 5 -0.5 a run as my lock. And for my dog, I had a couple that I actually really liked, but you know what? I think I'm just going to go with it. Give me the Reds. I'm going to fade Giolito. I'll take the +110, and I'm going to say thank you. So give me the Reds money line.
I thought you were going to pinch both of mine. I had 2 dogs, so I'll take my alternative option, which is going to be the Diamondbacks. The Reds and the Diamondbacks are similar prices.
See, I thought you were going to take Padres -1.5.
Well, yeah, that was another option. There's no real big fancy prices. I like to put out a bigger one rather than just a +105. But yeah, I mean, Boston even money, Cincinnati, Padres +140. They're all sort of hanging around the same price. So I'll give the D-backs out. But in an Atlanta team total is my lock. I can't see how they don't easily put up 7 or 8 runs against the Mets tomorrow. That's like their baseline. That's a par score. 10 would be okay. 5 would be disappointing. Like their base score is going to be 7 or 8 runs tomorrow, and the line is going to be 5.5, maybe.
Probably juiced 5.5.
Yeah, juiced 5.5. Yeah, we can get up there, get up the ladder, 8, 9, 10, etc. And that, Scott, was a bit of an adventure, but we got there in the end, mate. We are thoroughly professional young men.
From what I remember, this happened to me once before, and I had to like reset my entire computer. So maybe I'll be able to fix it. But if not, I got these as the backup. So there we go.
Right, it's 9 minutes past 11 p.m. Right? For
a
small boy here is in the cupboard again. I don't know what he's getting, but I can hear the rustling of crisp packets, biscuit things,
I was
cake wrappers.
gonna guess like a Pop-Tart. Do you have Pop-Tarts in England?
We have Pop-Tarts, but I don't think he's brave enough to use. He's got look, is that a chocolate croissant? He's got a chocolate croissant, Scott.
Okay, fair enough.
Plus 130 on the chocolate croissant. Why is he go to bed, man? What's wrong with people? Right. Cheers, Scott. That was fun. Thanks everyone in the chat who joined us 3 times. That is outstanding commitment, everyone. We bounced you around the internet to find this rubbish, so we appreciate you keeping with us. Good luck with all your bets. We will be back tomorrow. Until then, we'll see you down the road. Cheers.